A single mom donates her lottery ticket to charity. The words had been printed in bold black ink on the collection envelope, but to Ellie Morgan, they might as well have been etched in fire. Her trembling fingers hovered over the small square of paper, a $5 lottery ticket she'd received as a tip during her double shift at Rosie's Diner. It wasn't much, but it was something that, just maybe, could change everything. Outside her apartment window, the December wind howled through the cracks in the weathered frame, sending a chill across her skin that had nothing to do with the broken heating system. The kitchen table before her held the organized chaos of her life. Past due notices arranged by urgency, her 7-year-old daughter Lily's school permission slip for a field trip she couldn't afford, and 3/4 saved for laundry day. Ellie's eyes burned from exhaustion. 29 years old, and sometimes she felt like she'd lived 3 lifetimes already. College dropout at 19 when her parents died, single mother by 22 when her husband decided fatherhood wasn't his calling, and now juggling 3 jobs to keep their little world from collapsing. The lottery ticket felt impossibly light in her hand, a featherweight carrying the burden of possibility. "Mommy?" Lily's voice floated from the doorway, her small frame wrapped in the too large sweater Ellie had found at the thrift store last month. "Is Santa still coming this year?" Ellie's heart clenched. She forced a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Of course he is, sweetheart. Santa never forgets good little girls." But the truth hung heavy in the space between them. Santa's workshop was looking awfully bare this year, despite Ellie picking up every extra shift she could at the diner, the convenience store, and her weekend house cleaning jobs. Lily patted across the worn linoleum, her mismatched socks, one pink, one with faded unicorns, sliding slightly with each step. She climbed onto Ellie's lap, her warm weight both a comfort and a reminder of everything at stake. "What's that?" Lily pointed to the lottery ticket. "Just a piece of paper, honey." Ellie tucked a strand of Lily's auburn hair behind her ear, hair just like her father's, though Ellie tried not to think about that. Sometimes grown-ups buy these hoping they'll get lucky. "Like finding a 4-leaf clover?" "Something like that." Lily's eyes brightened. "Maybe it'll be lucky for us. Maybe we can get heat that works all the time, and I can go on the field trip to the science museum and... maybe?" Ellie whispered, though the logical part of her brain screamed at the statistical impossibility. 1 ticket. Millions of players. The math wasn't on their side. After tucking Lily into bed with an extra blanket and a story about a princess who saved herself, Ellie returned to the kitchen table. The charity envelope from Lily's school sat accusingly beside the bills. The school's annual holiday drive for the children's hospital, the same hospital that had saved Lily when pneumonia had nearly taken her as a toddler. Ellie remembered those 3 terrifying nights, watching her baby struggle to breathe, the way the nurses had slipped her extra pudding cups and the doctor had checked in even when his shift had ended. She remembered how the social worker had helped her find programs to cover most of the medical costs when her insurance fell short. With a deep breath that shuddered through her entire body, Ellie slipped the lottery ticket into the charity envelope and sealed it before she could change her mind. Some debts couldn't be calculated in dollars and cents. Some gifts needed to be given, even when, especially when, it hurt to give them. The next morning, frost had painted delicate patterns across the inside of their windows. Ellie helped Lily bundle up in layers before school, their breath visible in the apartment's chill air. "Don't forget your envelope for the charity drive," Ellie reminded her, handing over the sealed paper rectangle. "It's important to give back when we can, but we don't have much to give," Lily said, her forehead crinkling in that way that made her look like a tiny philosopher. Ellie knelt down, eye to eye with her daughter. "That's when giving matters most, Lilybug. When it would be easier not to." Lily nodded solemnly, tucking the envelope carefully into her backpack. "Maybe our gift will help someone like me when I was sick." "Maybe it will." Ellie's throat tightened. "And that would make it the best gift of all." As she watched Lily board the school bus, Ellie pushed away the whisper of regret about the lottery ticket. $5 wouldn't change their lives anyway. It was just a wild, foolish dream. Dreams, Ellie had learned long ago, were luxury items she couldn't afford. 3 days before Christmas, snow blanketed the city in pristine white that would soon turn to gray slush. Ellie hurried between bus stops, her second-hand boots leaking at the seams as she rushed from her morning house-cleaning job to her afternoon shift at the diner. Rosie's Diner sat on the corner of Maple and Fifth, its neon sign flickering half-heartedly in the winter gloom. Inside, the warmth hit Ellie like an embrace, along with the familiar scent of coffee and grilled onions. There she is. Maggie, the 60-something waitress who'd taken Ellie under her wing 3 years ago, waved from behind the counter. Thought the snow might have swallowed you whole. Nearly did. Ellie shook snowflakes from her hair and hung her coat on the staff rack. Bus was running 20 minutes late. Well, you're here now. Maggie handed her an apron. And it's a madhouse today. Christmas shoppers refueling. Ellie tied the apron strings with practiced efficiency. Any good tippers? Table 7 left you 15%. Not great, not terrible. Maggie lowered her voice. But get this, you know that charity drive at Lily's school? The children's hospital one? Ellie froze, her heart skipping. What about it? It's all over the news. Someone donated a lottery ticket that hit the jackpot. Can you believe it? $43 million going to the children's hospital. Maggie's eyes were wide with excitement. Whoever did it didn't even leave their name. Just gave away a fortune, anonymous-like. The room seemed to tilt slightly. Ellie gripped the edge of the counter, her knuckles whitening. You okay, honey? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine, Ellie managed, though her voice sounded distant to her own ears. That's amazing news for the hospital. Sure is. They're saying they'll be able to build that new pediatric wing they've been fundraising for forever, calling it a Christmas miracle. Maggie shook her head in wonder. Can you imagine having that kind of money and just giving it away? Ellie couldn't speak. Her lottery ticket, her numbers, her chance at a different life, gone. For the next 6 hours, she moved through her shift in a daze, pouring coffee and serving plates on autopilot. Every time the bell above the door jingled, she startled, half expecting someone to point at her and announce to the world what she had done, or rather, what she had given up without even knowing. By closing time, her feet ached and her head throbbed. The snow had picked up again, falling in thick, heavy flakes that muffled the city sounds. Need a ride? Maggie asked, buttoning her coat. My son's picking me up. We can drop you. Thanks, but I'll take the bus. I need to think. Maggie studied her face. Something's eating at you. Want to talk about it? It's nothing, Ellie lied. Just Christmas stress. The older woman squeezed her shoulder. Whatever it is, honey, remember that trouble doesn't last always. The darkest nights make the brightest stars. Alone at the bus stop, Ellie finally let the tears come. $43 million. A life without constant fear. A home where the heat worked. College funds for Lily. No more double shifts and aching feet and counting pennies. All gone because of one impulsive act of gratitude. The bus arrived, its headlights cutting through the snowfall like searchlights. Ellie boarded, dropping her fare into the box with numb fingers. As the bus rumbled through the quieting streets, she pressed her forehead against the cold window and tried to find peace with her decision. The children's hospital would help thousands of children like Lily. Families who were struggling just as she was. It was a good thing, a right thing. So why did it hurt so much? The apartment was dark when Ellie arrived home, save for the small lamp Mrs. Petrovich from next door always left on when she watched Lily. The elderly woman was dozing in Ellie's armchair, a half-finished knitting project in her lap. Mrs. P. Ellie whispered, gently touching her shoulder. The woman stirred, blinking owlishly behind thick glasses. Oh, Ellie dear. I must have nodded off. Thank you for watching Lily. Was she good? An angel, as always. Mrs. Petrovich gathered her knitting. She was very excited about something that happened at school. Something about her envelope helping sick children. Ellie's breath caught. Did she say anything else? Just that her teacher announced that someone's donation from their school had done something wonderful. Children her age don't remember details very well. She patted Ellie's hand, but she was proud that her school had helped. After Mrs. Petrovich left, Ellie crept into Lily's room. Her daughter slept peacefully, one arm wrapped around her threadbare teddy bear, her face soft in the glow of the nightlight. Ellie sank to her knees beside the bed, watching the gentle rise and fall of Lily's chest. $43 million. A sum so vast she couldn't even properly imagine it. But looking at her daughter's face, something shifted inside her. A realization that nestled into her heart with unexpected warmth. Some things were worth more than money. Some lessons couldn't be purchased at any price. She'd given Lily something greater than wealth, the knowledge that even when you have little, you can give greatly. That sacrifice carries its own reward. That they might be struggling, but they weren't broken. Ellie brushed a kiss against Lily's forehead and whispered, "We're going to be okay." For the first time in a long while, she actually believed it. Christmas Eve arrived with a fresh dusting of snow and the news vans still parked outside Lily's school. The mystery of the anonymous lottery ticket donor had captured the city's imagination, spawning speculation and theories across social media and local news. Ellie avoided the reporters carefully, dropping Lily off at the side entrance for the half-day of school before heading to her morning cleaning job at the Peterson household. Mrs. Peterson greeted her with unusual warmth. "Ellie, have you heard about the lottery ticket? It's all anyone's talking about." "I have," Ellie said quietly, hanging up her coat and reaching for the cleaning supplies. Such a selfless act. In today's world, it's almost unbelievable. Mrs. Peterson sighed dreamily. "I told George if I ever won that much, I'd buy a villa in Tuscany before the check even cleared." Ellie just smiled and began dusting the mantel, letting Mrs. Peterson's chatter wash over her. The woman's life was so different from her own. The sprawling house, the designer clothes, the luxury cars in the garage. Yet there was something hollow about it all that Ellie had noticed over months of cleaning here. The perfectly arranged photos of family vacations that masked the tension she witnessed between husband and wife. The expensive toys gathering dust because the children were always at some exclusive activity or another. "You know, Mrs. Peterson said suddenly, interrupting Ellie's thoughts, "we've been talking about it, and we'd like to give you a Christmas bonus this year." Ellie looked up in surprise as Mrs. Peterson pressed an envelope into her hand. "It's not lottery millions," the woman said with a laugh, "but hopefully it helps with Christmas for your little girl." Inside the envelope was $500, more than Ellie made in a week. "Mrs. Peterson, I can't accept this," she stammered, though every fiber of her being screamed to take it. "You can and you will." Mrs. Peterson's voice was firm but kind. "George and I realized we've been underpaying you for the quality of work you do. Consider it a correction rather than charity." Pride warred with necessity in Ellie's heart. $500 meant Christmas presents for Lily. It meant paying the electric bill on time instead of juggling which utility could wait another week. "Thank you," she finally said, her voice thick. Mrs. Peterson squeezed her hand. "You know, whoever donated that ticket has made everyone in this city a little more generous. It's like a reminder of what matters." After finishing at the Petersons, Ellie had just enough time to rush to the shopping center before picking up Lily. The stores were packed with last-minute shoppers, but Ellie moved with purpose, the $500 carefully budgeted in her mind. A science kit for Lily, a new winter coat to replace her outgrown one, a pair of sturdy boots that wouldn't leak, a stuffed otter, Lily's favorite animal, money for the field trip, and still enough left to put toward January's rent. As she waited in the checkout line, her gaze fell on the lottery ticket display by the register. Weekly drawings, promises of instant wealth, dreams sold in $5 increments. For a moment, she was tempted. Lightning could strike twice, couldn't it? But then she remembered the way Lily's face had lit up when she talked about helping sick children, the pride in her daughter's voice. The lesson learned. Ellie turned away from the lottery display. Some things were worth more than millions. Christmas morning dawned clear and bright, sunlight sparkling off the snow. Ellie woke to Lily bouncing on her bed, small hands patting her face in excitement. "Mommy! Mommy! It's Christmas!" Santa came. Ellie pulled her daughter close, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo. "Did he now? Should we go see what he brought?" Their modest pile of presents looked beautiful beneath their small artificial tree. Lily's eyes widened at the science kit, the new coat, the boots, the stuffed otter. Each gift was received with genuine joy that made Ellie's heart swell. "This is the best Christmas ever," Lily declared, hugging her new otter to her chest. After breakfast, they bundled up in their new winter gear to walk to the park. The city felt quieter, gentler on Christmas Day, with people nodding and smiling as they passed. At the park, other families were out enjoying the snow, building snowmen, having gentle snowball fights, sledding down the small hill. Ellie watched Lily join a group of children constructing a snow fort, her daughter's laughter carrying across the white expanse. "Excuse me." Ellie turned to find a woman standing beside her bench. She was perhaps in her 50s, elegantly dressed in a camel-colored coat, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in a neat bun. "Yes? Are you Ellie Morgan?" Ellie's guard immediately rose. "Who's asking?" The woman smiled gently. "My name is Diana Winters. I'm the Director of Development at Children's Memorial Hospital." She gestured to the bench. "May I sit?" Confused, Ellie nodded. "How do you know my name?" "That's rather a long story." Diana sat, adjusting her scarf. "One that begins with a lottery ticket." Ellie's heart stuttered. "I don't know what you're talking about." "I think you do." Diana's eyes were kind but knowing. "Your daughter's teacher, Ms." Barnett recognized Lily's handwriting on the envelope, the one containing a lottery ticket worth $43 million. The world seemed to stop. Ellie stared at the woman, unable to speak. "Don't worry," Diana continued softly. "Your identity has been kept completely confidential, Ms. Barnett only told me and I've told no one else. Why are you here?" Ellie finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "To thank you, of course, but also..." Diana reached into her bag and pulled out an envelope. "To give you this." Ellie looked at the envelope but didn't take it. "What is it?" "The hospital board met in an emergency session when we learned about the lottery win. Obviously, it's a transformative gift for our institution. But when we discovered that the donor was a single mother who likely had no idea what she was giving away..." Diana shook her head, emotion crossing her face. "We couldn't in good conscience keep the entire amount." She placed the envelope in Ellie's hands. "This is a check for $10 million. The board voted unanimously to share the blessing." Ellie stared at the envelope, unable to process the words. $10 million? Yes. The remaining $33 million will still allow us to build our new wing and expand several critical programs. But this, Diana tapped the envelope. "This is yours. No strings attached." Tears welled in Ellie's eyes, spilling over before she could stop them. "I don't understand. Some might call it karma. Others might call it the universe balancing itself." Diana smiled. "I call it the truest spirit of Christmas, giving to someone who gave when they had almost nothing to give." Across the park, Lily's laughter rang out as she and her new friends rolled a giant snowball. Ellie watched her daughter, this child who had taught her more about generosity and joy than anyone else ever could. "Will you accept it?" Diana asked gently. Ellie thought about all the nights she'd lain awake worrying about money, about Lily's future, college, security, about breaking the cycle of just barely getting by. "Yes," she whispered. "Thank you." "No, Ellie Morgan. Thank you. Your gift will help thousands of children for years to come." Diana stood, buttoning her coat. "The world needs more people like you, people who give not from their excess, but from their heart." As Diana walked away, Ellie sat motionless on the bench, the envelope clutched in her gloved hands. $10 million. Security. Opportunity. Breathing room after years of holding her breath. "Mommy? Come see our snow castle," Lily called, waving frantically. Ellie tucked the envelope deep into her coat pocket and stood. There would be time later to figure out what came next. Time to plan and dream and build a future she'd never dared imagine possible. For now, there was only this perfect moment, Christmas Day, her daughter's smile, and the knowledge that sometimes, when you give what little you have, the universe conspires to give back in ways you never expected. She walked toward Lily with light steps, her heart full of a new emotion she'd almost forgotten. Hope. Spring arrived in bursts of green and fragrant blossoms, a season of renewal that mirrored the transformation in Ellie and Lily's lives. Their new home was nothing extravagant, a modest 3-bedroom house with a small backyard where Lily could play. But it had reliable heat, no leaking roof, and enough space for both of them to breathe. Ellie had quit 2 of her 3 jobs, keeping only her position at Rosie's Diner, now reduced to part-time. The rest of her hours were spent in community college classes, working toward the nursing degree she'd abandoned when her parents died. It felt like reclaiming a piece of herself long forgotten. Most of the money remained untouched, carefully invested with the help of financial advisors who specialized in sudden wealth management. Ellie had been clear, this wasn't just her future, but Lily's, and perhaps someday, Lily's children. A legacy born from an act of giving. On a warm Saturday in April, Ellie stood on the edges of a crowd gathered outside Children's Memorial Hospital. Construction equipment loomed behind a ceremonial ribbon stretched across what would soon become the entrance to the new pediatric wing. She hadn't planned to attend the groundbreaking ceremony, but something had drawn her here, a need to see the tangible results of that one moment of decision months ago. Lily squeezed her hand. "Mommy, they're talking about the lottery ticket person again." Indeed, at the podium, Diana Winters was addressing the crowd, an anonymous donor whose generosity of spirit embodies everything we stand for at Children's Memorial. This new wing, which will serve thousands of children each year, stands as testament to how a single act of kindness can ripple outward, touching countless lives. Ellie felt a quiet pride warm her chest. Not pride in herself, but in being part of something greater, a chain of giving that had started long before her when the hospital had cared for Lily and would continue long after today. The donor has requested that the wing be named the Lily Wing for pediatric care, Diana continued, causing Ellie to gasp softly. She had indeed made that request through an anonymous letter, never expecting it to be granted. Lily looked up, her eyes wide. "That's my name!" "It sure is, sweet girl." Ellie smoothed her daughter's hair. "Isn't that a coincidence? It's like I'm famous, but nobody knows it's me." Lily giggled, delighted by the secret. As the ceremony concluded and the crowd began to disperse, Diana caught Ellie's eye across the plaza. The hospital director offered a subtle nod of recognition and a warm smile before turning to speak with major donors and hospital board members. Walking home, Lily skipped ahead, stopping to examine spring flowers pushing through the soil in neighborhood gardens. Ellie watched her daughter, healthy, happy, secure, and felt a profound sense of peace settle over her. $10 million had changed their material circumstances, certainly, but the true transformation had come from something money couldn't buy, the knowledge that even at her lowest point, when giving meant sacrifice, Ellie had chosen generosity over self-preservation, and in doing so, she had taught Lily the most valuable lesson of all, that our lives are measured not by what we accumulate, but by what we give away. As Lily ran back to her, a dandelion clutched in her small fist, Ellie knelt to accept the offering, a simple weed that, in her daughter's eyes, was a treasure worth sharing. "For you, Mommy," Lily said, pressing the fuzzy yellow flower into Ellie's palm. "Because sharing good things makes them even better." Ellie gathered her daughter in her arms, overwhelmed by love for this child who had somehow understood the most important truth of all. "You're right," she whispered into Lily's hair. "It absolutely does." And in that moment, on an ordinary spring day filled with extraordinary blessings, Ellie knew with certainty that the greatest jackpot she had ever won wasn't measured in millions, but in moments just like this one. Moments of connection, of love, of the quiet miracle of enough.